Hi, it's January 30th as I'm recording this. It's 8:15 in the morning, and I've recorded this episode actually a couple of times. The first time I recorded it was when I was in the midst of being very frustrated about what was going on with my Facebook ads account that has been restricted, which is the topic of today's episode. And then because I didn't publish it right away, then there has been like a couple of updates. And then yesterday I recorded it. And then I was kind of like, okay, well, but I think like I'm not giving enough information for somebody who may not be aware at all about what I've been doing with my Facebook ads account, because I feel like I'm in a place where it's annoying, it's frustrating, it's challenging, but it's also not really impacting my business as much as it would have last year if it had been restricted last year. And I'll explain why. It's still very annoying, don't get me wrong, and I would like my ads account to be reinstated because on top of it, I don't know why it got restricted. So at the beginning of this podcast episode, I'm going to share some of the Kickstarter projects that I have been backing, Patreon form, and then I'll get into the meat, so to speak, of my Facebook ads restriction. However, before I do that, just in case you just listened to the first 5 minutes or not even of this podcast episode, here's a little important piece of information. As I was researching, now that my ad account has been restricted for more than 30 days, I started researching about what other people have been doing and what other experts have been, not other experts, because I'm clearly not an expert on that, but what experts are saying on the topic. And they're saying to not necessarily do the review that they let you do. You know, you can request a review. They say, don't do that first. And that's what I did because I've done it in the past. I'll get into it into the podcast episode. But what I'm saying is before, if you have your Facebook ads account restricted, please Google it, YouTube it, try to see what has worked for other people. Even if other things, just as simply as talking to somebody has worked for you in the past as it has worked for me, just take a moment and just double check what else you might want to do prior to doing this little step. For example, some are saying that what you need to do is to enable two-factor authentication. And I don't know if that's it. I don't know if that's the only thing you would need to do. So I'm saying really just do a search, ask in Facebook author groups, maybe if you're part of them, ask a friend if they know somebody who had their Facebook ads account restricted. When it comes to Facebook author groups, there are a couple of them. There's the 20 books to 50K. There is the Wide for the Win if you are a wide author. There is several groups that are focused on Facebook ads as well. So those are people that you might be able to ask. So yes, I am crossing my fingers that if you come across this issue, it gets resolved for you very, very quickly. So I just wanted to put that out there at the beginning of the episode, just in case you were looking for a solution and you're like, oh, maybe Elodie knows. Elodie doesn't know. She's still trying on her end. So yes, so this was my little PSA, which will be again at the end of this episode, but I just wanted to put it right here, right now. And now I'm going to continue with the rest of the episode. Also, if you're wondering if I sound a little bit different, I had the flu about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I'm still sniffly and all of that. So yeah, it's still me. Hi, Elodie Novodatsky, your host for a self-published author's diary. And if you don't know, I've been self-publishing since 2014, and I've learned a thing or two along the way, and I've made 1,000 mistakes along the way. So today I'll be talking about my Facebook ads account being restricted. Before I start, I wanted to tell you about a couple Kickstarters project that I supported, that I backed in the past couple of days. One of them still has 12 days to go as of this recording, and it's Page Turner Pacing Writing Craft ebook, workbook, and course, How to Write a Binge-Worthy Novel Using the Addictive Principles of Episodic Television by N.S. Johnson. N.S. was a guest on this podcast, I want to say now a couple of years ago. First of all, it was a very fun conversation, but it was also a very interesting conversation because N.S. has this, I don't know if it's a teaching personality, but she just explains things in such a way that A, I find fascinating, but also I learn a lot, like B, I learn a lot from. And so when I saw this Kickstarter, I was just very, very excited about it. I backed it at the level where I'm getting the digital workbook because she has a digital workbook. She also has a course and I backed it at this level. Like I want the course itself because I enjoy learning, but I not only enjoy learning, it helps me become a better writer. And so pacing is something that I sometimes struggle with because I need a lot of information as I draft. I'm a discovery writer in a way that I learn about my character and I get to know them as I write. And then sometimes when that happens, it makes it a bit more complicated for me to know what to cut, what to make more binge worthy. There's one of my books that's called A Summer Like No Other, where I feel like I've done that, like the pacing very, very well. And a couple, I mean, all my other ones, don't get me wrong, I think pacing is good in my other books as well. But I feel like this is one area where I could lean into where I'm already good at, but also learn more about. And then the other one that I backed was the author Ecosystems, which has, at the time of recording, and I'm going to post this episode today on January 30th, it has 39 hours to go. So if you are listening to this podcast episode on January 30th or tomorrow morning, that will still be available. It's called The Author Ecosystems, Your Unique Path to Writing Success. Discover your unique author archetype and learn strategies to build a thriving, sustainable writing career tailored to your strength. And it's by Russell Nohelty and Monica Leonel. And another thing that I'm going to be learning about too, which is not on Kickstarter, and this one is by Becca Syme, going back to the archetypes, is the archetype posts. There was a quick cast that I have not listened to yet, which was Question the Premise, Write to Market. And then she has different archetype posts that you can listen to for, I believe, $10. And I'm going to be learning more about that. It's part of the Becca Syme Patreon, which I'm a member of. It focuses also on Gallup strengths. So that's another thing that is in that Patreon. So those are the things that I've backed or that I'm going to listen to in the near future. And I thought if you were not aware of them or if you've been wondering what they were, hopefully that's a little bit of information. But today, as I said, I'm going to talk about my Facebook ads account and the fact that it has been restricted. And I was trying to find a little bit more information in my emails to give you, a little bit of background about why I find that A, super frustrating, but also B, why it's not as stressful as it would have been last year. And the reason why it hasn't been as stressful as it has been last year is because of Kindle Vella no longer being one of the places where I earn an income, really, because Kindle Vella is winding down. They're going to take away all the stories in February from the platform. There is no longer any bonuses. And Kindle Vella is basically one of the ways that I tripled my profit. Actually, I tripled my profit last year, mainly in part, not only, but mainly in part to Kindle Vella. And that meant that last year I was using Facebook ads a whole lot because this was my main way of finding readers to my Kindle Vella. And so last year I spent about $7,000 on Facebook ads. Again, keep in mind that I tripled my profit last year. And so that amount, which is a huge amount for me, made it possible as well for me to find new readers and to get bonuses from Kindle Vella that were pretty substantive. Because for $7,000, I was making about $3,000 in bonuses each month. So, if you calculate 7,000, I was not spending $1,000 per month. So just that, I was making more than $2,000 in profit from those Facebook ads. It was a great return on investment for me. And if last year I had those issues with my Facebook ads account, that would have been much more stressful. Again, don't get me wrong, it is stressful, it is challenging, it is really annoying because my Facebook ads were still working. So now I have those books that were on Kindle Vella, they're now on Kindle Unlimited. And so I had one ad that was going to my most profitable book on KU right now. And now, well, it's not working. It hasn't been working since basically the end of December. In addition, I also had an ad that was going to my French book on different platforms. So Facebook ads is a way for me to reach my wide readers because, well, Amazon ads, they send those readers on Amazon, right? Because it's on the Amazon ecosystem already. But the Facebook ads I'm able to use to reach readers, French-speaking readers, especially on Kobo and Apple and Google Play. Those are the main stores that are profitable for me for my French-speaking books. And so I had been running an ad for the French version of Sweets for Love, which is called Un Amour de Pâtisserie. It was working pretty well, especially on Kobo. And I saw the numbers right now too. I mean, my Kobo Plus numbers were also getting more significant. So it was definitely gaining me new readers. Even though I had been struggling a little bit with Facebook ads, I won't say October, November, it had started to be a little bit wonky. Like it would show my ads to people that were clearly not interested. I was mainly focusing, like I had the restriction to show it only to women, and it would show it to men a lot. Some people would like it or would comment on it, like asking what the heck. So there were a lot of different issues that I was dealing with. But at the same time, I still had found a way to make those still profitable for me. It hasn't had as much of an impact on my income as it could have had because I have found ways to reach Kobo readers in December even though the Facebook ads were still, ongoing for a certain part of the month. They stopped working towards the end of the month. But I was in a Kobo French translation promo via Kobo. So that has helped me a little to get new readers there. But again, it's in a moment right now where I would like to be able to boost certain posts, where I would like to create new ads I started a YouTube channel, and I'll do another episode about that. It has audiobooks in English, and it has full audiobooks in English and full audiobooks in French. And I'm getting a lot of French subscribers to that channel. So I would have liked to do an ad to basically promote that channel and try to reach 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is when you can start really monetizing. Like 500 subscribers you can, but I feel like 100 subscribers is easier for me in a way, not to reach the 1,000 subscribers, but to be able to monetize the channel at that level. However, I'm trying to really be mindful about what I'm trying to achieve with my YouTube channel. So the monetizing is not the main goal for it. But still, I would like people to be aware of it because I'm just not throwing audiobooks just to throw audiobooks on YouTube. So that's one of the reasons why I'm frustrated. And also the fact that it's just an endless loop of information that doesn't match, and then just being called by a different name than mine. And yeah, it's just, so I'll get into what happened. So I got an email and a notification in December about my ads account. I had gotten an email in November, but my ad account was not restricted in November. And then when I go onto the payment activity, so if I, look at that on my billing and payments when it comes to my ads account, it says, we noticed some unusual activity. So we've disabled your ad account. Verify your account to run ads again. So it says verify your account, right? And I think that's what it did when it said on the other spot, when you just go onto the ads account, it says something slightly different. It says your account violated one or more of our advertising policies. Your ads have stopped running and you won't be able to create or publish new ads. You can verify your account and request a review if you think this is incorrect. So I thought this was incorrect. And I asked for a review at the beginning of January. Then I think I had to put my passport, but I feel like the lighting was not great when I did that. And also, on my passport pictures, I have way less hair than I do now. I can't remember. I think that picture, I cannot remember exactly when it was taken, but it was taken when my hair was growing back. And because I have two different pictures. I have one where I look like a mushroom, and that's not that one. I had less hair on that one. But basically, it says we did not remove restrictions from your ad account on January 3rd, 2025. I was in Europe at the time that happened, and it says why this happened. It looks like you are taking part in behavior either with a group of accounts or by yourself that tries to find a way around our rules. This goes against our advertising standards. So it says examples of things we don't allow, working with a group of accounts to break our rules or bypass them, creating new accounts to repeat a behavior that doesn't follow our rules, any activity that tries to bypass previous restrictions. I didn't do any of those 3 things. None of them. Because I thought at the beginning, like maybe one of my ads for my KU books is slightly, spicier because it's a spicier book. And I thought, oh, maybe that's why. But it doesn't seem to be the reason why. And plus, I would have gotten that ad flagged. And I had one ad that had been flagged from that particular book, but it was for like music, even though that was a music they were giving. And then they realized, oh no, that's not you, that's me. That was basically their answer. And in that case, it was. And so they had let that ad continue to run, and it had been running for months. So I don't think that's what it is. The problem now is that it's very hard for me to reach somebody to talk to. And when I tried, so in January, I was able to reach someone who called me. And I did that by using the AI, bot message things. And then at some point I asked speak to a human, which was basically the name of my support case, speak to a human. And that person on the phone told me, yeah, I cannot see really anything. It should be lifted within 48, 72 hours. It can take up to 30 days, but based on what I can see, it should be lifted pretty quickly. And I thought, oh, great. Except it wasn't. It's now been, so since that January 3rd, and I talked to that person on January 7th. So it's been 23 days and my ads account is still restricted and I still do not know why. And that support case that I had ongoing it was basically 16, 20 emails that were just a loop of no information whatsoever. And every time I was trying to figure out what was going on, well, it came back to, because at some point it said, on my ads account, it said, we're waiting from information from you. We're waiting on information from you. Except when I was asking the people what they needed, they were saying, oh, this is just an automated message, ignore it. And then in one email, I was called Fiona. My name is not Fiona. So clearly it was a lot of copy paste between different cases and they just changed the number of the case and then the name. But it was not. So Fiona, by the way, if you're listening to this and you got your account reinstated, please tell me how, your ads account. I would be greatly appreciative. So they ended up closing the case without any resolution for that particular one. And my ads account still says in review when I go onto my ads account overview. But it says it says it's in review since January 7th. However, I also read on Facebook that if your ads account is in review or like restricted for a certain amount of time, you don't resolve the issue within because it says disabled or restricted accounts. So my account is not disabled, it is restricted. So crossing my fingers, that means that, I won't fall into that because it says to request a review, you must be an admin of the account. Accounts that have been disabled for more than 180 days cannot be reinstated. It says confirm your identity. So I did that and it didn't work. So I'm going to try again. Then I can do a complete verification. You'll ever see a button to start verification or request review. I'm going to try to see if there is a way for me to verify my account and see if that would help this particular problem. So there are still a couple of things that I can do. But I can tell you that the back and forth trying to figure out what that thing is that I could try to do has not been very successful. Then I posted on TikTok explaining that I had a YouTube account because, again, I'd like people to know that I have a YouTube account and explaining why about my Facebook ads restriction. And I got a lot of comments saying, contact this person, they can help you. And then those are basically, it seems to be like hackers who can try to help if your account has been hacked, which is not the case in the sense that my entire Facebook account is fine. It's just my ads account that has been restricted. So it doesn't seem to fall into one of those things, where it gets super problematic in how to get access back. I don't even know if I want to continue Facebook ads. I found another thing that was working for me, which was I did a free Booksy for my Kindle Unlimited book that resulted in a lot of pages read afterwards and also in a lot of pre-orders. Like I have 49 pre-orders on my next book that is priced at $4.99. So that free Booksy for me really worked well. The only thing, again, is that how to reach those French readers who are white readers, because I don't know of any other advertising platform that can really help me reach those readers. So that makes it a little bit more difficult. And then there was an episode from Claire Taylor, which says, episode 35, her What If for Authors podcast, which says, what if my ads stop working? And so in a way, my ads have stopped working because they're not being shown to people. And that was, another reminder to figure things out and like try to find solutions, and not for me to get stuck on the one platform that is currently not working for me. I'm trying to find ways to work around that issue that I've encountered, but I would like to get my ads account reinstated, or no longer restricted. So I'm going to continue looking for solutions. Another frustrating thing was that I was also getting emails from my Meta Advertisement Pro, like the person, not the support team from Meta, but the person who's supposed to help me with my ads, how to make them more efficient, how to make them more like seen by people, all those things. But what was frustrating was that I was getting those emails while I could not run ads. And so we had back and forth, and that also was not helpful, because I even chatted with them yesterday again. And they told me, but we had raised a support ticket. And I was like, no, you didn't, because you told me that you couldn't, because I already had a support ticket ongoing. And then they said, oh, yes. It was basically what I find frustrating too, is it's basically a waste of my time. It's things where I'm trying to find solutions by reaching out to people. And at the end of the day, it's not helping move the needle whatsoever. And so that can be quite annoying. So yes, both can be true. I can be annoyed and also try to find other solutions to make it work. So I've been reading articles about how to remove a restriction on a Facebook ad account. And there was one article that mentioned, do not do basically what I did, which was to use the manual appeal option. They're saying, do not do that. I've done it because it had worked for me in the past when I've had issues with my ad account, or I had issues with ads before. And every time I did the review, it always got back that it was fine, because it was always fine. And this time around, it did not. I don't know why it hasn't. And so some of the things that those articles have been saying, if you're encountering this before you press on do the review like I did, one of them could be to secure your account, to do the two-factor authentication to meet Facebook security requirement. Basically, doing the two-factor authentication could apparently be something that helps. Will it? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I can do that yet, but I've already did the verify and do the thing, and apparently this is not what you were supposed to do, even though this is what Facebook tells you to do. And as I've said, the reason why I've done it that way and did not really do a lot of deep dive before getting my ads account restricted was because I had issues in the past that were very easily fixed. Because I guess my public service announcement for you is that if you get your Facebook ads restricted, do at least a Google search on how to resolve it. Do a little bit more research than I did. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I usually try to read a little bit on things and stuff like that. But again, it always resolved itself. I thought it would be the same thing. I would talk to somebody, I would explain the situation, and it would get resolved. However, this hasn't been resolved yet. But I have dozens of emails that basically are just, again, an endless loop of nothing. So there are more articles out there. There are some YouTube videos. There are things that maybe can help you. Make sure that you keep your account secure. Don't give any information to anybody. I haven't done that, but also don't do it. Don't give your information to anybody. If you've had issues with your Facebook ads account, don't hesitate to let me know. I sympathize with you. And if you have any other ideas on how I can reach those French readers I was talking about, please let me know in the comments of this episode, or reach out to me at author.elodie-novodatsky@gmail.com, or you can go onto my website, and it's www.elodie-novodatsky.com, or also www.dasdog.net, which will redirect you to my website. Thanks to my husband for that idea. And again, if you want to see my YouTube account, my YouTube channel, I will add the link in the episode descriptions, as well as the Kickstarters I mentioned and the Patreon that I'm a part of. To all writers out there, happy writing, and to everyone, happy reading. Thank you for listening.